start next chapter, chapter number 5, that is solution to the basic problems of an economy under different economic system. So first we have to understand what are the basic problems of an economy under different economic systems. So first problem, okay, first basic problems. Basic problems of an economy are: number one, what to produce. Number two, how to produce, and number three, for whom to produce. Okay, so these are the basic problems. Now we have to discuss, okay, how this problem can be solved in different types of economy. That is, the different types of economy we have: socialist, capitalist, and mixed economy. So first let's start with capitalist economy. Socialist economy, and number three we have a mixed economy. So once again here, first we have to know what are the basic problems of an economy. So basic problems of an economy are what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So these are the three basic problems. Now here, how these problems are solved in different types of economy. Okay, how the problem is solved under capitalist economy, how these problems, basic problems, are solved under socialist economy, how these basic problems are solved under a mixed economy. That one we have to study. Now I will start with this capitalist economy. Okay, I will start with this capitalist economy, and in the case of this capitalist economy, first we have to know what is price mechanism. In order to solve all this basic problem, we need to understand the concept of price mechanism. So before starting this, I will discuss a brief idea about this price mechanism. Now, so first I will write capitalist economy. And what are the problems that need to solve under this capitalist economy? The problems, basic problems are: number one, what to produce; number two, how to produce; and number three, for whom to produce. Okay, so these are three basic problems that we need to solve under this capitalist economy. So in order to solve this, we have to understand the concept of price mechanism. Okay, in order to understand this, we have to know the meaning of price mechanism. Okay, we need to understand the concept of price mechanism, then it will be easier for us to understand how the problem can be solved under this capitalist economy. So what is price mechanism? So price mechanism is a mechanism in which price play a key role in directing all the economic activities of a consumers, producers, and the resource suppliers. So I will write it: price mechanism is a mechanism, okay, mechanism in which prices play a key role in directing all the activities of consumers, producers and okay, once again, in order to solve the basic problems under capitalistic economy, first we need to understand the concept of this market mechanism. What is market mechanism? So market mechanism is a mechanism in which prices play a key role in directing all the economic activities of the consumers, producers and resource suppliers. So here we have to understand the meaning of this. So price mechanism is nothing, it is like a price tag, and with the help of this price tag, millions of consumers, producers, resource suppliers, they will take action. Okay, they will take action and they will take different economic decisions on the basis of this price. Okay, price and market. So we know that in a market we have seen that the different goods and services have different existing prices. Okay, so with the help of that price, how the consumers, how the producers, how the resource suppliers are going to take the economic decisions, that how much they are going to purchase, what quantity they are going to purchase, okay, which resources they are going to use. So here price mechanism play a very important role in directing, instructing, okay, instructing or guiding the millions of individuals in an economy to take the different economic decisions. So this is about the price mechanism. Okay, now in order to this price mechanism to be success, two things is important. What are that? The two things are important for this price mechanism. The one is A is price and B is market. In order to assess the price mechanism, in order to assess the price mechanism, these two things are important: prices and market. Now, prices, with the help of that price, as I said, different individuals, producers as well as consumers as well as the one who is supplying different resources in an economy, they may take decisions how much or what quantity of resources they are going to supply, how much quantity of commodity or goods the consumers are going to purchase, how much quantity of commodity that producers are willing to offer for a sale in the market. So with the help of that prices, the different individuals will take the different economic decisions, because under the prices, the cost of production, okay, cost of production will cover under these prices. When the producers set a price, when producers put a price tag on any product, the cost of production will already included in that price. Okay. Now, in order to sell that commodity, in order to sell that goods, what is needed? Market is needed. So the combination of these two, okay, the assessment of this market and the prices can be considered as a price mechanism. So this is the consequence. Price mechanism is a consequence of prices and market. Now here you have to understand how the price is determined. The price of commodity is determined in the market with the forces of demand and supply. We can see that the commodity which have more demand in the market, their price will be high, and the goods or the services which have sufficient supply in the market, their price will be less. So the market forces of, we can say that the market forces of demand and supply will determine the prices. Now next one, market. Okay, market. So what is market? We have already done in chapter number 2. Market means a system or an arrangement in which buyers and sellers will communicate each other, make a deal or strike a deal. Okay, the buyers will buy the commodity and sellers will sell the commodity. They may bargain with each other to set a price, and once the deal is made, the buyers will buy the commodity and sellers will sell the commodity. Again, that market is of two types. One is called goods market and the other one is called factor market. So we know that goods market is the market where the various goods are bought and sold. Similarly, what is factor market? Factor market is a type of market in which the factor services are bought and sold. Okay, like labor services. Okay, services of land. When we are using that labor, we have to make payment in the terms of wages. When we are using land, we have to make payment in the terms of rent. So, with the help of this price and market, this price mechanism works. Okay. Now, we will move to the next part, solution. Okay, solution of basic problems. So whatever we have discussed just now, these all are the basic concepts needed to explain how to solve the problems under capitalist economy. Now, we will try to find the solution for this one, what to produce. Okay. What to produce. Okay. So in capitalist economy, with the help of that price mechanism, with the help of that price tag, okay, the problem of this what to produce can be solved. Now, when we are talking about the producers in a capitalist economy, we know that in a free enterprise economy or in a capitalist economy, the producers are producing any commodity with the intention of earning profit. Okay, profit is the main motivating force of the producers to keep them interested in the production. So now how to what to produce. Okay, so here the producers will produce those goods which are highly demanded in the market. Okay, first how this problem is solved. The problem of this what to produce is solved by a capitalist economy in that way, okay, in which these producers will try to see the demand, okay, demand in the market. So according to the taste and preference of the consumer, they will see what type of goods are highly demanded in the market. So depending on the demand for goods in the market, whatever the demand is there, so if demand is high, the producers will produce more quantity. If the demand is less, the producers will produce less. So first factor, okay, that determine what commodity the producers are going to produce, that depends on the demand of goods and services in the market from whom? From consumers. Okay, and consumer will demand various goods and services depending on their taste and preference. If the taste and preference for any goods is very high, the demand for that commodity will be very high in the market. And the second thing, the factor on which what to produce will depend is that profitability. Producers will produce, okay, the producers will produce those goods in which their profit margin is very high. So when there is an excess demand for their commodity in the market, obviously the price will be high, and if the price is high, their profit margin will be more. So profit is the another factor which determine what commodity and in what quantity the producers are going to produce. So the basic problems is what to produce, and this what to produce is solved under capitalist economy with the help of these two factors depending on the demand. If demand is very high, the producers would like to produce that type of goods. And the second thing, they will see the profit also. The producers will see the profit. They will produce those commodity in which the profit margin is very high, because under capitalist economy, the private enterprises are interested to produce the commodity only when their profit is very high. That means their main objective is to earn profit. So because of that, profit motive, the producers will be producing in a capitalist economy. So in this way, the problem of what to produce can be solved. Okay, one, depending on the demand. Okay, depending on the demand, they will produce the commodity. And second thing, they will also see the profit margin. If profit margin is very high, they will produce that type of product in the market. Now we will move to the second part. The second part we have how to produce. Okay, how to produce. So this how to produce under capitalist economy is solved by, here they will choose the methods of technique. Okay, so the producers will choose that methods or that techniques of production which is cheap and most efficient. Okay, so producers can produce, we know that we have already done in chapter number 3, the producers can produce the commodity by various techniques. Okay, the main two techniques are labor intensive techniques and number B we have capital. Okay, capital intensive techniques. So producers can produce different goods by two methods, labor intensive techniques or capital intensive techniques. So the definition of labor intensive and capital intensive we have already discussed in the previous class. So what is labor intensive techniques? Labor intensive techniques refers to that techniques in which more amount of labor and less amount of capital is used in the production. Okay, so this labor intensive techniques, we can say that more amount of labor and less amount of capital is used in production. Okay, what will be used more amount in labor intensive techniques? More amount of labor will be used in a more amount and capital will be used in a less amount. Okay, in any production. So that type of techniques is called labor intensive techniques. Now next one we have capital intensive techniques. So in the capital intensive techniques, it refers to that techniques or that methods of production in which more amount of machinery equipments are used and less amount of labor are used. So this capital intensive technique means more amount of equipments and less unit of labor are used in production. So in capital intensive techniques, more amount of machinery, equipments, tools are being used and less amount of labor are used. Okay, so I'll give you one example. So in order to produce clothes, okay, in order to produce clothes, we can use both the techniques, labor intensive techniques or capital intensive techniques. So handloom method, one example is handloom. Okay, handloom. So clothes can be produced by this method also, handloom technique, or maybe by power loom. So if you are using handloom, that is the labor intensive techniques to produce that clothes, and here more amount of labor is required and less amount of machine equipments are required. Whereas in the case of power loom method, more amount of machinery equipments is required and less amount of labor is required. So these clothes can be produced by two methods, handloom methods or power loom method. If we are using handloom method, means we are using which technique? Labor intensive techniques. When we are using powering method means which technique we are using? We are using capital intensive technique. So here the producers will see which techniques of production is cheapest and the most efficient. If they find that labor intensive techniques is very cheap, and if they have available amount of resources, that is labor, then they may go for labor intensive techniques. Once if they see that the capital intensive techniques is the cheapest and the most efficient methods of production, and if they have available amount of resources to follow that techniques or to follow that methods, then they can go for these capital intensive techniques. So here we can see that in capitalist economy, either they can follow labor intensive techniques or capital intensive techniques depending on the cheapest and the available amount of resources. If capital intensive is more efficient, they will go for capital intensive techniques. If labor intensive techniques is more efficient and they have available amount of resources, then they will go for this capital intensive techniques. Okay. Now, next one. Next basic problems we have. Okay. Now next we are going to discuss how the problem of for whom to produce is solved under capitalist economy. The third one we have for whom to produce. For whom to produce. How this problem is solved under capitalist economy. So the producers will produce various goods and services for those who can afford, who can be able to purchase his product. They will not produce the commodity for those who are not able to pay the prices. Okay, so we can see that it depends on for whom to produce depends on the one who can afford or able to pay for goods and services. Now, who will be able to purchase, who will be able to pay, who will be able to afford that commodity depends on distribution of income. Okay, now who will buy my commodity, will buy my goods, will buy my services, that depends on distribution of income. Okay, and that distribution of income takes place in the form of wages, rent, interest and profit. So if the laborers are more skilled, talented, okay, they will get more wages, they will get more income, and if they are getting more income means they will be able to purchase more. That means the producers are producing more commodity for those who are earning very high income, who are earning more wages, more rent, more interest, more profit. Those who are earning less, okay, they will get less commodity or they will be able to purchase less product, less goods and services because their income will be less, and with the help of less income they will be able to afford only less unit of goods and services. So here for whom to produce will depends on the one who can afford my commodity or who can be able to purchase my product. Okay, so on the basis of that, this problem of for whom to produce can be solved under capitalist economy. Now next class we will discuss the how to solve the basic problems of an economy under socialist and mixed economy.